Hi, and welcome to the pre-parade program for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. I'm Dan York.
And I'm Susie McGraw, and I can't wait.
That's right. The greatest thing that happens every year in Garden City is the Santaland Parade. It takes place on the Saturday after Thanksgiving this year. It will be Saturday, November 26th, beginning at 10 a.m.
Best place to be on that date, and whether we can get there in advance and stake our claim, or if we have to watch it on TV, either way, it's a win-win.
It is a win-win. Now, the parade route, as always, the parade will travel south on Middle Belt, beginning at Garden City High School. Now, there may be some alterations to that parade route by hundreds of feet rather than by anything significant because of the construction going on at Garden City High School and with the parking lot, but we'll talk about that later in this segment. The parade will begin at approximately Garden City High School. It will travel south on Middle Belt Road, then east on Ford Road, and will end up in the Garden City Town Center parking lot where the DDA will host their post-parade event.
With Santa Claus and so much more.
Hot chocolate, cookies, entertainment, all kinds of stuff. We'll also talk about that later.
Yes.
Over 80 entries again this year for the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade, and it has been a great time for the last 10 years since the new owners took over.
Oh, no doubt about it. And you know, as I always say, you can't have a parade without a marching band, so we've got 3 times the fun with 3 marching bands, don't we?
Absolutely. And some other music from the Detroit Lions Drum Corps. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. We have the Great Lakes Garrison. That's the Star Wars guys. Everybody that's ever been in the parade before is here again this year. And, of course, Santa will end up the parade.
Yay! And there are still opportunities to sort of wear your swag and show your support for the parade.
Absolutely. Hoodies available this year. The hoodies are... It's a Santaland parade thing, taking off the, it's a Garden City thing, and the theme of this year's parade, which is it's a gingerbread thing. So there's a lot of but parades, but hoodies will be available at Garden City City Hall and at the Maplewood Community Center. They're only $25 each, and again, we'll talk more about that.
Wonderful. We do have a possibility of a new staging area because of the parking lot project at the high school and the redesign of the parking lot. The staging area of the parade may have to be modified. If you are a participant, you will be sent information the week of the parade with staging details. Also, check the parade website at www.santalandparade.com or check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Santaland Parade for updates on the situation.
Now, the alternate plan for the parade is to have a lot of the parade line up on Maplewood between Middle Belt and Hartel. The check-in point would be at Maplewood and Hartel on the westbound side of the street, which is the north side of the boulevard, and there's no houses on that side, so nobody will have their Saturday morning disrupted. The floats and vehicles will line up on Maplewood, and then the walkers will report to the area at Harrison School, or the old Harrison School, which is Garden City Hospital now. That's located on Hartel, as well as the Douglas School parking lot. So again, it's very important. This is all in a matter of flux. So make sure that you check the website, santalandparade.com. Make sure you check out our Facebook page. Find us at Santaland Parade, Garden City Santaland Parade, and that's where all the information will be. But again, this is all in a state of flux because they're working on the parking lot right now. It's the hope of the school district to have it ready for us to stage like we normally do on the day of the parade. And again, if you're an entrant in the parade, if you're one of the participants, if you're one of the groups, you will get packets emailed to you with the correct information. So we want to stress that this is all in flux. Be patient with us that morning because things are a little different than what they normally are.
Right. It's good to have a backup plan, and it sounds like
we've got one. We absolutely have a backup plan. All right, let's get started with our pre-parade show. We're going to talk with some of the sponsors. We're going to talk to some of the people that operate the parade. We're going to have a great time. It is the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. Now, of course, the best part of the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade is what is in the parade. There's lots that goes into fundraising and sponsorships and all of the staging and all the technical stuff, but everybody's there to see what's in the parade.
Absolutely, and we are excited to have an amazing Grand Marshal this year, someone bringing in a different level of expertise, huh?
Yes, we'll have 80 plus entries, but one of those entries will be our Grand Marshal for this year, and it's Nolan Finley. Now, Nolan is the editorial director of the Detroit News. He graduated from Garden City East High School in 1973 and spent much of his childhood here in Garden City. He was inducted into the Michigan Journalism Hall of Fame back in 2012. Nolan is also the co-host of My Week, which airs on Detroit Public Television.
Mr. Finley has been the editorial page editor of the Detroit News since the year 2000. He joined the Detroit News staff as a copy boy in 1976 while he was still a student at Wayne State University. Mr. Finley navigated the positions of reporter, deputy managing editor, business editor, city editor, and opinion leader to eventually become the editorial page editor.
So we are honored to have Nolan Finley as our Grand Marshal for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. And amongst those 80 entries, we have got some great ones, which we've had for the last couple of years.
Oh, absolutely. We talked about the marching bands, 3 marching bands, Garden City, Livonia Franklin, and Taylor Kennedy. I always enjoy hearing a little bit of a different spin that each of those schools brings to the Christmas, usually Christmas songs, so the Christmas spirit. So that's very exciting. Always kind of wondering what they're going to play, so that's lots of fun. And as you mentioned, the Detroit Lions Drum Corps, so a little bit of rhythm in the parade.
And they are very loud. You will be able to hear them throughout the entire parade route when they step off.
I think I hear them practicing right now,
you
actually.
You can hear them from anywhere in the state, pretty much.
Or maybe it's the Wayne State cheerleaders and their mascot. They'll be joining us in the parade as well. That's a lot of fun. I was a Wayne State cheerleader, by the way.
Were you really?
Back in the day.
Wow.
Okay.
Do you still have the skirt?
Moving forward, the Great Lakes Garrison Star Wars Group, always a crowd favorite, as well as the Michigan Wheelmen. Miss Washtenaw County, Heather Kendrick, is joining us this year, so some royalty. That's exciting.
That's very nice.
And one of your favorite entries?
The Redford Unicycle Club. And many from Garden City in that group.
Absolutely. And every year you say you're going to try your luck and
no, every year you say that.
Okay, fine. Speaking of Ghostbusters, we really weren't, but the Great Lakes Ghostbusters will be performing this year in the parade, and that's always fun. It's been a big year for Ghostbusters, hasn't it, with the new movie and so on. We always have to welcome our own local royalty, and that's the Garden City High School Homecoming Court. Always a pleasure to see those young ladies.
Did you know the homecoming queen this year was a tie?
I did not know that.
And they were twins.
Oh, oh.
Susie likes stuff like that.
I love that. Keeps it more peaceful in the household too, doesn't it, for those girls? That's wonderful. Well, Stan, the magical fireman, always has some good tips about fire safety, and he has a blast riding his little vehicle around, so that's always exciting to see. And then probably one of your other favorites, is it the lawnmower, the drill?
You know, my fear is that they'll be busy actually cutting lawns that weekend because it's been so warm this year. The grass is still growing.
I think you're right. But they're going to be there anyway. They'll take a break from the lawn cutting. It's the Redford JC's Lawnmower Drill Corps, and they really are a fan favorite. The Royal Arch Masons will be there. Lots of motorcycle groups, always a little bit loud, sort of a little bit edgy. That's kind of fun to bring to the community. And then, of course, as you mentioned, some of the things that I love the most, the Scout troops, the Brownies, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the service clubs, all the youth groups in town, church groups, and so much more leading up to the big guy himself.
That's right, Santa Claus. And again, Santa, after he makes his way through the parade, will be at the end of the parade route at the Garden City Downtown Development Authority post-parade event. You get hot chocolate, cookies, all kinds of great stuff. And Santa will also listen to the kids' wishes, plural, their wishes.
Lots of them.
At the end of the parade. And don't forget, again, the parade route for sure this year, even though we may be changing some of the staging, is south on Middle Belt Road, beginning at Garden City High School, going east on Ford Road, and then ending up in the Garden City Town Center for that great post-parade event.
Can't wait for it.
All right, it is the 2016 Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. pre-parade show for the Garden City Downtown Development Authority. Santaland Parade continues, the 2016 Santaland Parade, and with us now are two people from the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, who is the title sponsor for the Santaland Parade and has been since 2009. Bruce Bolin, who is the chairman of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, and Kim Dold, who is the director. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us again.
And of course, thank you to both of you and to the entire DDA for the continued sponsorship of the Santaland Parade. This is something that's gone on in some form since the middle 2000s, back when the JCs no longer were involved with the parade, and everybody kind of scrambled to put it together. And originally, the DDA covered some of the costs, and now the DDA has become the title sponsor since 2009 now, and we thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
So tell folks what the DDA is. Bruce, you've been on the DDA for a long time, and
Yes,
it has a great function within our community.
You're right. I've been on the board since 2001. I appreciate being and having the opportunity to be part of the DDA. And just to maybe clarify what the DDA is that we are a appointed group of people appointed by the mayor and again conferred by city council to allow us to sit on the board and make decisions for the DDA. And to give a little bit of DDA 101 is that the DDA, well, we work with the money that we capture within the DDA district, and that's how we fund some of these events and some of the things that we need to do to help develop an economic growth within the community, and hopefully make Garden City a little bit better community to inspire and people have more businesses come to this community and make this community work a little bit more in a nice way to where we all can enjoy and appreciate the area. And yes, the money that we capture, I also like to inform people too that usually the money is captured it's a tax capture, but the taxes are captured within the DDA district only, and not residents outside the district. So that limits us on what we can do with that funding, and that funding does go back into the development of the downtown. And it could be anything from physical things like facade loans that helps increase tax values, which helps again increase our capture base if that happens to be a need, but we've been kind of quiet on that end lately. But now what we've been doing in the last couple of years is actually, trying to improve some of the, physical things within the community. We finished the Commons Corner to the point where it is right now, and now we're finally extending our efforts out into what we call the gateway area. This is beyond the district that has already developed decorative street lights. And we are installing new lighting with the assistance of the DTE. And it's an effort, but it has an expense to it, but we're really on board keeping that going, and really I'm glad to see that develop, and fortunately we can do that. And it's to the point where by the end of the year we should have something up and completed.
So let's clarify for folks who maybe don't understand. The Downtown Development Authority is Ford Road from Henry Ruff to Harrison, correct?
Correct.
And Middle Belt Road from Maplewood south to exactly what street? I never know. Bach. Okay. So and so folks understand. I believe the DDA in Garden City was established in 1983.
Right around that time.
Okay,
yes.
about 1983. So what happens is the increase in tax value in that district since 1983, rather than coming to the city, goes directly to the Downtown Development Authority. Is that a fair analysis of how the tax increment financing works?
That's correct.
Okay.
So and that's the only thing that we operate on. In fact, as trustee for the downtown, we're all volunteers. We do have a staff and a physical office that we can maintain our businesses, and that's what we have our director and an assistant on staff at the moment.
And we have a central business district, which is Brant to what?
Brant to Garden.
Brant to Garden.
Along Ford Road, and then on Middle Belt, it's essentially Kroger's down to.
Yeah, it's like that north or that south driveway of Kroger,
Pardo,
basically.
yeah.
Okay. And to the other side. So the area where we currently have the decorative street lights, where we have cement streetscape, that is the central business district.
Right.
And then the area outside of that that has more grass and has the bricks along the curb, where the street light work is going on right now, that is the gateway area.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And then the other project that the DDA has going on simultaneously with the gateway project is a conversion inside the central business district to LED lights, right? Tell us about that.
Right, we're working with a company based out of Brighton, so it's local. They're called CGE and Clean Green Energy.
Okay.
They are coming through and we've purchased new globes for the decorative lighting in the CBD. If you notice, a lot of them, they're yellowed and real hazy. And the lamps inside will be swapped out for LEDs. And I don't know if it was mentioned, but the project with DTE and the gateways, those will be LED lamps also.
Sure. And to go along with the LEDs that were already replaced from Merriman to Henry Ruff
Yep.
and Harrison
To Inkster.
To Inkster.
Yeah, by the
Okay.
city.
Okay.
So we'll have a lot of nice new LED lighting and nice and bright energy savings, so.
And one of the nice things about the central business district is there was a problem with that project in that a lot of the lights were shorting out, so there was often a lot of lights burning out prematurely. So this should
Right.
eliminate that.
Yes, yes. We have a maintenance program with CGE for the next 10 years, and they're going to take care of everything from the ground up. So we were seeing some wires short inside the poles.
Yeah, absolutely.
With no additional expense to that.
Mm-hmm.
So the people,
All part of the project.
So this is what we try to find as a unified group, the trustees, the best way and the most economical way to kind of utilize money that we receive, so that we can,
And the
work with
DDA
them.
definitely did due diligence on this project because
That's just-
this has gone on for 3 or 4 years
years.
trying to
Right,
find
right.
the right fit.
Yes.
Right.
And that wasn't easy.
There's a thank you to DTE also, because they did remove the poles, the old wooden poles. Those were removed at no cost to us at a cost of approximately $1,000 a piece,
Yeah, I
is
think
what
we
we were
saved
told.
$40,000 if I
Right,
recall.
so extremely helpful. I do want to mention too, in case anyone does see the poles going up, the poles themselves are going to be silver. The
For
head,
now.
For now. The heads on them will be the same teal green as the decorative lighting downtown. Depending on the weather, we may or may not get those painted to be teal green this winter. It may
Right.
wait till spring, so they might look a little off until spring, but
Right, they will
I
eventually
promise
be
they will be
teal.
painted teal to match
Absolutely.
the others, so.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other things the DDA has going on, because the DDA has done a great job over the past 5, 8, 12 years of creating events within Garden City. And you've taken great advantage of the space that may be inappropriately really called the farmer's market space, but it is the space south of Kroger there in the Garden City Town Center on the corner of Ford and Middle Belt. And you've done a really nice job of bringing a lot of big events to that space.
Yeah, most recently our chili cook-off. This was the 9th year for our chili cook-off. It started in front of Kmart, I believe, with 3 teams. This year we had 24 teams. We've included a restaurant category. There's a children's area, a hot rod show, motorcycle show. We've got a lot of the businessmen, business owners in Garden City that come up and help us. Tim Kearney, who's also on the Planning Commission, owns Larry's Auto Parts. He took over the hot rod show for us. Rick and Nikki Livy from Rick's Custom Cycle, they take care of the motorcycle part of it, all on their own. The schools have become involved. Memorial School does the children's area for us, so it's really a huge help, and we get a lot of volunteers for this,
And it's
because
a
otherwise
huge
we
event.
couldn't do it.
I mean,
It is a
it's
huge
just-
event.
You've probably outgrown your space at this point.
We have. It's a good problem to have, but nonetheless, it is a problem. And each year we look at how can we continue to grow this, but in the area that we have, because as the DDA, I can't. A lot of people have come to us and said, chili cook-off would be great at the park. And I agree, it would be great at the park, but the DDA can't host it then.
Right.
So
Right.
it'll stay here, and we're going to have some really neat stuff next year for our 10-year anniversary. And
Okay.
now,
and-
I do want to say, though, with the chili cook-off, the proceeds from that chili cook-off
Yes.
this year were about $16,000,
Okay.
and just a couple dollars shy of that. That money is donated to, as it has been for several years now, to 4 local charities. We have the Garden City Goodfellows, our home pantry, Garden City United Needy family and the Straight Farmhouse.
Okay.
They all benefit from that. This year the checks, they vary because we also donate a certain amount of money to charities that are designated by our volunteers. So per hour worked, we will donate to those charities also. So they all got a minimum of $3,250 donated, some of them more.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we were able to donate $16,000 to our local charities, and
And that
It's-
and that corresponds with the fire department open house that is on that day. So really, you've got a giant footprint of activities going on.
we
that.
do, yeah.
Is it always the second Saturday of October?
yes,
Okay. All right.
yes.
Talk about some of the other activities that you have, because you have a variety of things that go on there, and one of the things that you have there is the post-parade event,
Yes.
where folks can visit with Santa and get some hot chocolate and congregate and put together fellowship, I guess.
Yeah, we have we'll put a tent up, so hopefully it won't be too cold, but it helps a little bit. And we'll have Santa there. Usually the ROTC kids from the high school come down and help, and the kids can come in and see Santa. A lot of times what also happens is a lot of your parade participants, Rory, the Star Wars Garrison.
The Great Lakes Garrison, right?
Great Lakes Garrison. They all stay, and the kids just love it, and everybody's standing around taking pictures for quite a while. But yeah, we'll have hot cocoa, we'll have cookies for them, and each child will get a little gift from Santa.
Okay, very good. Now, that kind of ends your year as far as outdoor events. but
Well,
then you
with the
kick-
exception of the tree lighting,
with the exception of the tree lighting.
right, which will be 2 days after the parade. So
Okay.
Monday the 28th at 6 p.m. over at the Commons Corner. We'll have a couple of choirs there. The Tipton Middle School has offered to come in and do some carols, Merriman Road Baptist Church. And of course, Santa will be there too, and we'll do a countdown, flip that
Yep.
switch, and the lights will go on and light up the city, actually.
And
All
not
of our
only
trees.
not only just on the tree, which is beautiful, by the way. That's a great addition to the Commons, and we've gone to a rather than a real tree, it's a tree that fits perfectly on the
It's-
base
yeah.
of that planter.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about trying to find one. We don't have to kill a tree every year. We get to put up well, English Gardens comes out and puts the tree up. They'll be out next week to start
I
putting
was
that
going to say
up.
that has to happen real quick, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe that most of the lights have been installed in the trees up and down Ford and
Yep.
Middle Belt. The majority of the trees are ready, so
And that really is just so visually appealing and we're one of the few towns on the west side of Detroit that really have a centralized downtown where we can do something like that.
oh yeah. I know Westland's Mayor Wild. I was talking to him, I believe it was year before last, and he mentioned the lights to me, and he said, yeah, he says, I'm jealous.
And if I may say, I have a lot of people that come into, as a customers and that, and comment on how nice Garden City looks with the trees lit. And so Ford Road being one of the most traveled roads within the area, we get a lot of, outside people passing through.
Right.
It just
A lot of
makes-
traffic.
It just draws more attention to what a pleasant community Garden City can be and
Yeah.
is.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about some of the other activities you do have going on beginning next spring.
Well, next spring will start out with the Lucky Squirrel, which is big garage sale, craft show.
Flea market, whatever
over in
you
the
wanna call
former
it.
farmer's market lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, flea market type. But we usually have over 100 vendors there, and it's getting more and more popular.
And that's what, once a month for 3 months, or how?
No, we'll hold that twice a year.
Twice a year, okay.
Yeah, when we haven't set dates yet. This year it was in May and September.
Okay.
So it'll be in general around those same dates. Then next will be our second annual Willie the Pig Run. I'm drawing blank.
But that's what it is.
It is, yeah. It's a 5K, and we're looking at actually this year expanding it, possibly having a 5K and a 10K, along
Okay.
with the children's run that we did prior to that. That was a huge success last year. We were hoping to possibly get 100 to 150 runners, and we ended up with over 300. Got a lot of great feedback on that. So we'll be working toward that again. And the night before that, though, the Kiwanis will be coming in and doing pig races. So stay tuned for information on that, because this is
Not exactly what it sounds like.
no, it's not. But it's going to be a lot of fun and hopefully raise a lot of money for the Kiwanis.
Okay. And the flea circus also is
The
very
flea
popular.
circus is in there, absolutely. It's our animal awareness and adoption event. We've averaged the last couple of years about a dozen animals being adopted through that event. But we raise money, people donate food, and we also have vendors. As long as anything is animal related, we have those vendors come in. We have a lot of the rescues, a lot of dog rescues. We've had bird rescue, rabbit rescue. We've had a monkey there. Another event that continues to grow every year.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And then there may be some incarnation of a farmer's market that's not set in stone yet for next year, right?
it's not set in stone. I think there will be a farmer's market. What's really not set in stone is where the location of it's going to be.
Right.
That may get moved over to Garden City Park, but the DDA is open to continue having it here in the farmer's market lot. Just some logistics need
Yeah.
to be worked out, so
Okay. But lots of great activities and lots of things to draw people into our community.
getting people down here, that's the idea. Get them down here, hopefully into the businesses, trying to work with the businesses to offer incentives
Mhm.
to the people that do come down to, get them through your front door.
Right.
If we can get them through your front door,
The rest is up to
the
you.
rest is up to you to
Right.
get them to come back. But
Right. Okay.
yeah, we've seen a lot of new businesses this year, though, come into the downtown area, so we're doing good. We're moving in the right direction.
Good. Bruce, talk about the board itself and talk about all the volunteers that it
Right.
takes to put on all of these events, because everybody's
Right.
a volunteer that's involved in
Yeah,
this.
and the board themselves are a group of people that are have some commitment to Garden City, either by being property owners, business owners, or residents. And these people are the ones that are, so you're limited on this to be part of the board. And that gives you some incentive to, and appreciate the opportunity to be part of the board, because you have that, the connection with the community. And so the board has generally a makeup of a majority of what we call, trustees with interests, and that's a group of about 6 people within the, business district that either they live or have a business or own property within the district. Then we have several residents that are outside the district but live in Garden City. Then we have the mayor, and then we have even one trustee, which is the most difficult one to find, is a resident in the DDA.
There's not a lot of homes in
Yes,
the DDA.
Right.
yep, so we're limited, and we have one trustee, we gotta keep her on, but we are, we're limited to a term of, either 4 years, basically, for each term until we can get reappointed, if we get
Okay.
reappointed. And as far as of all the events, I do have to take the opportunity to thank all the people that are volunteers for these events
Absolutely.
and committees. Behind the scenes, you wouldn't believe how much time is spent talking, discussing, planning, getting organized for these events. And these events, since I've been on the board, were just starting to get considered. And now I see them, starting out, like you said, the farmer's market, or the chili cook-off, the first one with a couple of them, just a tiny little, tent. And now it's grown to such an event that it's overwhelming when you see it now. And I'm impressed. But it takes a lot of people, and these people are fantastic to put all their time in and help us do this. And I again have to thank our director, Kim Dole, and our assistant to Kim Dole, Teresa. And these people put a lot of time in, and this is overtime and time that you wouldn't believe. So they're committed. I like to keep them shackled to the desk to keep them within the building. But
So you
they're
keep
all
tabs on them?
They're out and about and doing what they have to do. So
Okay.
great people to trust.
Fantastic. So if anyone wants to get a hold of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority and wants to see more about what you do, what's your website?
The website is GCDDA,
Okay.
and you can shoot me off an email. It's real easy. It's kim@downtowngardencity.com.
Okay. And you have a Facebook page too that people can follow
We
that
do.
has a lot of that has almost everything on that.
Yeah, we have a very active Facebook page. Teresa does a great job keeping that going, and that is Downtown Garden City
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Fantastic. Well, again, go ahead, Bruce.
I was going to say, in talking about that, our meetings are we have a regular meeting once a month, and it's alternate months where we have one in the morning and one in the evening, but usually on the even I keep it straight, the even months of the year, we usually have it in the evening, and that can be around 6 o'clock, and then we have morning meetings around 8:30 in the morning now, scheduled on the odd months. So
Okay.
it allows the trustees who can't make it sometimes in the evening to come to one or the other, and also allows the public, and anybody's welcome to these meetings to voice their opinion or even give suggestions and ideas. We're open for any discussion, so we welcome anybody that's willing to want us to come in and be part of the meeting.
Okay. Well, I want to thank both of you. I want to thank the DDA again for their continued title sponsorship of the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland
You're
Parade.
welcome.
We appreciate your efforts with that, and we appreciate your post-parade show and everything else that you do.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
All
Maybe
right.
one of these years I'll get to watch the parade again.
All right, well, thanks so much. And
Thanks,
we will
Dan.
continue with our pre-parade show for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. As we continue along with our pre-parade show for the 2016 Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade, we want to recognize the sponsors because this parade does cost a little bit of money to put on, and there are lots of costs that we have to cover, and some of the businesses in Garden City and just outside of Garden City have really stepped up big over the past 10 years.
That's wonderful. I think people often don't know really what it takes to put on a parade. We just show up, and it's what I do. I just show up and
Well,
I
that's the
enjoy
point of it, yeah.
and kind of talk about it. That's wonderful. But you're right, it does take a lot of work, a lot of people coming together, and that does add up, fortunately, and
Yeah.
we have great support.
Yeah, because like the high schools now that come in for their marching bands, they used to be able to come and the schools would cover the cost, but they don't do that anymore. So we pay for the marching bands. We pay for things like porta potties at the beginning of the parade route. We pay for barricades. We pay for the police overtime. All of these things add up. We pay for some of the other groups and aren't just the marching band. So there are expenses involved with the Santaland Parade, and these folks help us cover those costs. And one of those folks is the title sponsor of the parade. That's why it's called the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. The Garden City DDA, they contribute $7,000 as the title sponsors of the parade. They have since 2009. And my thanks to Bruce Bolin and the entire board of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, and Kim Dold, she is their director, for all of the help they give us, not only in contributing $7,000 to the parade, but also they host that great post-parade event in the parking lot south of Kroger. We call it the Farmers Market property, but there hasn't been a Farmers Market in a while, but it is the Garden City Town Center. And you can see Santa after the parade at their post-parade event. There'll be cookies. The kids can sit with Santa and pass along their wishes. So a great event and a great job done by the Garden City Downtown Development Authority.
Absolutely. It's important to note that when the parade ends, the fun doesn't have to. So
That's right.
we always encourage our families, and especially the little ones, to go out and continue enjoying that wonderful, magical day.
And a new sponsor for us this year at $2,000, one of our shining star sponsors, is the Bachelli Group. Ken Bachelli has been around Garden City for quite some time in a variety of capacities. His company right now handles the building inspections and some of that work for the city of Garden City, and that's the kind of work he does for businesses not only in Michigan but across the country. And Ken Bachelli, a $2,000 sponsor of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade.
Now our reindeer sponsors at $1,000 apiece, these two groups have been with us for quite some time now. Garden City Hospital, one of the great supporters of Garden City, not only of this Santaland parade, but just a great benefactor of this community, contributes $1,000. And the DTE Energy Foundation, they've done this for multiple years in a row. They contribute $1,000 to the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. Now, these folks that I'm about to mention, these are my rock stars. These are the folks that I have reached into their pockets for year after year after year and shaken them down for money. And every year they make a great donation to the Santaland Parade. We want to thank them. Jim Neve and everybody at Incorporate Graphics, they make their donation as an in-kind sponsorship of the parade. That means they contribute all of the knit caps, the baseball caps, the gloves, anything that we have given to the volunteers as part of the parade program. We have lots of volunteers that come out and help stage the parade, help put the parade on. Jim Neve, Sharon Giangrande there at the Incorporate Graphics, located kitty corner from Garden City High School. They have lots of great stuff. They are your place to stop for embroidery, your place to stop for silk screening, and we thank them for their $700 contribution in kind to the Santaland Parade. Now we have the $500 Santa Helpers category, and these guys, these are all great friends of mine, and I thank all of them for their contributions. John Fleming of Fleming Financial. John not only is the statistician for football and the scorekeeper for the Garden City High School basketball team, but he puts on a couple of golf outings every year that are fundraisers for different charities, and our thanks to John Fleming, a great Garden City resident and an owner of a business right here in Garden City, Fleming Financial Services. Mark Barsamian, who's located on Ford Road right across from Kmart. Barsamian Family Dentistry. Of course, if you're old enough like me, you remember his dad, Armin Barsamian, who was a member of the Garden City School Board for a long time. And if you're really old, you remember that Mark Barsamian used to work for Doc Schmidt in the dentist office where where another building is now. They're right next door to that building. But Mark Barsamian, a $500 contributor to the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade, and we thank him for year after year after year making a contribution. And falling into that same category is John Santu and Santu & Sons Funeral Directors, an iconic building, an iconic business here in Garden City that is known throughout the area, and we thank him for his continued contribution not only to the Santaland Parade, but to other charities and other worthwhile causes around Garden City. And another guy that falls right into that category, Orrin Mazzoni. His jewelry store, Orrin Jewelers, has been on the corner of Ford and Middlebelt. Not always in that spot, but they have been in business for over 75 years, and they have kept that business in Garden City. People come from all over the Metro Detroit area to buy their jewelry from Orrin's because they trust them and they know they'll get a good value. So our thanks to Orrin Mazzoni and Orrin Jewelers. Susan Ianni, you've probably seen her on the Gordon Chevrolet television commercials. They continue to donate. Not only do they give us $500 towards the parade, but they also donate some of the cars we use for entries in the Santaland Parade. So we thank her for everything she does. Harris Funeral Homes here in Garden City, a constant contributor, a repeat contributor to the habitual contributor to the, I knew I'd find the word eventually, to the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade. And Dash Desai, again, another friend of mine who runs the Garden City Medical Center here in Garden City that's located just south of Ford Road on Middlebelt. They contribute $500 every year to the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade.
You have friends in high places.
I have friends in high places, that's right, but I'll be working forever. But that's besides the point. Now, it's not just those big sponsors that we thank, it's not just those big contributions that we thank, but we want to thank those who have contributed less, and $300 has come from the city's law firm of Hemming, Pawlowczyk, Cronin, Widoff, Bennett, and Demopoulos, and also McKenna and Associates, who is the city's planners, who help work with the planning and zoning here in Garden City. We thank McKenna and Associates for that. And also, coming into $250, once again, Mayor Randy Walker and his wife Linda have donated $250. Randy and everybody at Ace Hardware, a different Randy, but our thanks to Ace Hardware and their owner Randy, who has contributed $250 this year to the Santaland Parade. Hershey Shoes, we talk about destination businesses. That is also one of those destination businesses. People bring their kids there to get their first pair of shoes, and they come back to that Hershey Shoes in Garden City over and over and over again. And Dr. Harvey Ellis, DDS, a new sponsor for the Santaland Parade, and $100 from Party Animal Travel. So a pretty nice group of folks.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to do the math, and that's a nice chunk
don't
of
do that.
change. Yeah,
don't
I
do
don't
that.
think I will. But what I think what makes this so exciting, this is sort of by the community, for the community, and
Yes.
from the community.
Absolutely.
And as community members, when we see these businesses and their contributions, we want to make sure that we give back by going into their facilities and saying thank you for being a part of this event. And also, you know, when you have some choices, maybe bump them higher on the list, because that's what they're doing for us, right?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade is entirely self-sufficient. So there is no funding from the city. The Garden City Downtown Development Authority, being the title sponsor, contributes the largest amount to us, which is $7,000. But the entire parade is put on by the Santaland Parade Committee, and we couldn't be more grateful to the sponsors for what they give us. Welcome back to our pre-parade special for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. I'm Dan York, and as we continue along, Jeff Van Dam is with us, and he is with the Bachelli Group. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thank you to the Bachelli Group for being one of the shining star sponsors, is what we categorize it as, a $2,000 donation to the Garden City Santaland Parade, and that is greatly appreciated. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about the Bachelli Group.
We at Bachelli Group, we provide a number of services, including civil engineering consulting, building services as far as what we're doing in Garden City, utility asset management for different utility companies, and then do some stuff with structural engineering also.
So a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for cities, for municipalities.
For municipalities, correct.
Okay. And how long have you guys been doing that?
We've been in business for roughly about 14 years now.
Okay.
And of the 14 years, we've been pretty much in about 30 different communities
Wow.
throughout Michigan, California, and Florida.
Okay.
So it's pretty wide structural setup as far as we got going on as far as the municipality.
Right,
structure.
absolutely. And how do you get into that kind of work? I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
He's real oriented around customer service, making sure we provide superior customer service, and he just kind of goes around the communities trying to get into the structural side of the engineering departments.
Okay, so like in Garden City, you're responsible for the services of the building department, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what kind of things come to you here at the Garden City Building Department?
As far as here in the Garden City Building Department, I'm set up as far as the actual management staff in the building department. We do anything from rental applications to CFOs, and then I have a team of inspectors that are licensed through the state that work for us for as far as plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and then building inspectors.
Okay.
We just go around and kind of assist on helping people start up companies or to get into the buildings that they're actually applying to get into.
Sure. So your company has an extensive knowledge of the laws in Michigan and the other states you work in. You know what a business needs or an individual needs to get their property open.
Yes, we are. All of our inspectors are licensed to the state in their particular fields, whether it's like electrical, plumbing, etc.
Okay. And you mentioned that you're in about 30 other cities, or how many of them are close to Garden City?
Right now, we're doing a little bit of work. We got Garden City. We're doing some work in Allen Park. We're doing some work out in Riverview and a couple other cities downriver.
Okay, so a lot of Metro Detroit stuff.
Correct.
Okay. And I know the folks at the Bachelli Group have spent a lot of time and effort over the last couple of months. They're going to have a big entry in the Santaland Parade this year.
Yes, they went above and beyond as far as building some style of float.
Yeah.
They been spending probably about 3 weeks so far into it. I know last time I seen it, it was pretty close to being done, and it
Yeah.
looks pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and I had an opportunity to see it too, and it takes into account the theme of the parade, which is it's a gingerbread thing. There's room for kids. I know some of the employees and their kids will be riding on the
have a couple
float.
of the families with their kids on the float also.
Yeah, and some
in the
classic
parade.
cars around it too, I
Yep.
think, or at least one classic car around
Correct.
it. Well, I want to just take this opportunity on behalf of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade to thank the Bachelli Group, to thank you for your contribution to the parade. $2,000 is a very substantial contribution to this parade, and we hope to put it to good use.
Hey, appreciate the opportunity.
All right, very good. Well, the Bachelli Group, one of the great sponsors for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade, coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. Now, one of the great things about the Garden City Santaland Parade is about every other year, or maybe every 2 years, we have hoodies for sale. So we've done a costume change. And again, the theme of this year's parade is it's a gingerbread thing, but kind of the overall message is it's a Santaland Parade thing. We've got the It's a Garden City thing campaign going on. So these hoodies are available, and the profits from these hoodies go to the operations of the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade.
It's a wonderful deal. This is soft. It is luxurious. I feel like I'm
Luxurious?
wearing... Yeah, I'm telling you, it's really incredible. I feel like I'm wearing pajamas, and I'm very cozy and warm, and I can't wait.
And that the problem with that is Susie just goes to sleep then, and it's game over. But you can buy these either at City Hall or at the Maplewood Community Center. They're only $25. And again, all the profits from these shirts go to the operation of the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade.
And thanks for doing pink this year, too, you know, kind of for the girls.
People asked, so we did pink, and
Right.
I actually turned out pretty good. These were designed by Jim Neve and our friends at Incorporate Graphics here in Garden City, so we thank them very much for their help, and they gave us a huge discount on the price, so we're able to make a profit off of these that go towards the Santaland Parade.
Fantastic.
So help show your support for Garden City, help show your support for the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade presented by the Garden City Downtown Development Authority. You can purchase these at City Hall or at the Maplewood Community Center for only $25. Our pre-parade special for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade continues, and one of the things we want to talk about is the Garden City Downtown Development Authority. Again, they are the title sponsor, but they put on a great event at the end.
Oh, they do. It's a wonderful opportunity to get up close and personal with Santa Claus himself, as well as warm up with some hot chocolate, have some Christmas cookies, and I know there's music, there's festivities. It just really is a nice way to keep the good energy going, to sort of stall to have to go home and put the Christmas lights up.
Right. There is there are several events going on that day in the community. There is a craft show that's going on, also put on by the Garden City Business Alliance. That's right after this post-parade event. But again, just follow the parade to the end, and Santa will be there again to hear all of the wishes from the little kids. And again, get some hot chocolate, get some cookies, and just have a good time and continue the event on.
Absolutely.
All right, the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade, presented by the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m.
And our pre-parade special continues for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. And with us are two young ladies from the Garden City Community Coalition and from Maplewood Community Center. The Garden City Community Coalition is the 501c3 or charity, if you will, that we are a committee of. The Garden City Santaland Parade Committee is a part of. And with us is Kim Mitten-Hahn, who is what for the Community Coalition exactly?
The president of the coalition.
Okay. And Monica Fulton, who many of you know as a member of the Garden City Santaland Parade Committee, an employee of the city. And what exactly is your role with the Community Coalition?
I am the treasurer.
Okay, very good. And we want to talk about what the Community Coalition does, because they're a very important part of this community. Obviously, they're very important to the Garden City Santaland Parade, being the umbrella charity, if you will, that we are a part of. But Monica, I will start with you. Why a Community Coalition? How did we end up with a Community Coalition?
So the Community Coalition started way back in 1999, actually, and we started looking at the community as a whole in regards to substance abuse, delinquency, violence among our youth, and it really blossomed from there. We had a lot of community involvement in that needs assessment that we conducted, and it resulted in the first of a 10-year grant for the Drug-Free Communities Support Program, and that which focused on substance abuse prevention in our community, specifically keeping youth from starting alcohol and tobacco and other drug use. And since then, it has really kind of branched off into some other areas as well. We have 5 focus areas. One of them being, of course, the substance abuse prevention and education. Another one being community enrichment, looking for ways to really bring the community together, make it cohesive, really positive things in the community, and Santaland Parade is one of the biggest things that we focus on in that area. Another focus area is health and wellness, and that's generally considered to be helping people get access to health care that they need, health insurance, which, you know, as many people probably are aware, we've gotten a number of grants, the city has, to help residents get access to health insurance for their children, for themselves, through the National League of Cities and through the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare for the marketplace. And so we are in year 2 of that grant. So we find other ways to supplement those programs through the coalition. We also support financial education and inclusion programs. I know the Family Resource Center and the Community Resources Department partner to provide the Financial Peace University classes to the community at a deep discounted price. So we search for resources and grants to support that. And we also support our home food pantry and other types of food insecurity and food healthy eating. Through gleaners and things like that. So that is the 5 areas of focus. I think I covered them all.
Okay. And Kim, as president, what is your role? Because I know you have other roles within the Maplewood Community Center that kind of overlap to different areas.
To help coordinate with the Santaland Parade Committee to make sure we have the volunteers that it takes to kick off the parade, as well as to host the executive board meetings and make sure that all 5 areas of focus are being worked on throughout the year.
Okay. And you mentioned the food pantry being one of those things. That has really taken on a life of its own over there, hasn't it?
It has. It has. It's really grown over the past 2 years.
So it came to us kind of, you know, an already well-oiled machine. The volunteers that ran that out of St. Dunstan's, many of them came over to the Maplewood Center when it was rehoused, and the volunteers are the lifeblood of that pantry. Of course, the Community Resources Department helps to facilitate the buying of the food that we have to do from gleaners. Many people aren't aware that we have to purchase food.
Not all of it, though, right?
Not
Some
all
of it is donated.
Yep, much of it is donated thanks to this fantastic community through events like Shred Day and the chili cook-off and things like that. So the community has really rallied around the pantry, and it has just been an incredible thing. Many of the pantry recipients, people that get the food from the pantry, actually volunteer in other ways in the community center as a way to give back in their appreciation. So it's been just a fabulous experience.
Okay, and obviously the people that you get to work with, both of you really, but the people you get to work with, that's what really makes this entire thing very special, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The volunteers, my staff at the Family Resource Center, as well as the rest of the staff of the Community Resources Department, and all the community members. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay. What are some of the future projects that maybe you guys are working on over there?
So currently I'm researching grants to bring even more financial wellness, so to speak, to our residents. I'm really looking for ways to encourage residents to start children's savings accounts. I've been involved in the National League of Cities initiatives to help educate cities on what their role can be with that, and looking for ways for the coalition to really bring that to the community in some fashion. I'm also looking at ways to expand our resources for the pantry through grants and things like that.
And talking about the healthcare component, I mean, we have been recognized nationally for the efforts we've made in this community, not only with the Healthy Kids, Happy Families program, and also with the Affordable Care Act. I mean, we really have done a great job with this.
We really have, and you know, a lot of credit's got to go to National League of Cities for the incredible education and networking that they did with us, and then of course the staff, Megan and her staff, that really, with the boots on the ground, the implementation of it just seamless. The initiatives of the task force, the Healthy Kids task force, the ideas that those community residents provided us, I mean, were really the platform. You know, we took those and we implemented those ideas, and it's really worked in our community. And the great thing about that experience was we were involved with 10 other communities, I think, and we were all very different in size, different in demographics, different in our areas, the focus, the approach that we took, and there was no one right way. They wanted to find out what was working in which cities and why. And we were really spotlighted in a number of ways. I know that our city manager, Bob Murray, was able to go to the National League of Cities for their second round of communities that they were educating about this, and really talk about the successes that we had. And you know, that saying it's a Garden City thing really applies here, because not every community works as well as this one does.
Well, and you took a very simplistic approach to some things that seemed like pretty basic common sense to us, that some of the other communities were astounded that we were able to do, and maybe because we have less layers of resistance, but with these programs normally you're able to take a very, and maybe that applies to everything at Maplewood Community Center, that you're able to take a very direct approach to some of these problems.
Yes, very direct. One of the best things that we did with the Healthy Kids was insert one-page flyers into our water bills that went to every household. Very simple idea, did not cost a penny extra to mail out those flyers, and the communities that we shared that with were astounded that this is something that they could do in their community. Like, wow, what a great idea. And sometimes it is that simple, and yes, there are less layers. We are you know, a very compact community, both in size and in administrative layers. And so sometimes it is easier to get certain things accomplished. There's much cooperation between our water department and the community resources department to make that happen. You know, there are steps that have to happen, but you know, the cooperation that we have, it doesn't necessarily exist in every other city administration.
Talk a little bit more about the Santaland Parade and all the folks that you put together to work that day, because maybe people don't appreciate how many volunteers and how many moving parts there are. There
are several volunteers throughout the community, as well as community resource department staff. We get a lot of our youth throughout the community who volunteer, whether it's through the community resources department or via the Family Resource Center. And often their families, siblings, parents, aunts and uncles, they join in as well. It's truly a family event that everybody looks forward to each year. It's definitely a tradition here.
And it's as simple as carrying the banners on the poles
banner
to...
carriers, character escorts, helping with staging, so the floats and the bands and all the participants get in the right line in order to help run it and make it seamless and run very smoothly.
Okay. Well, we want to again thank you and thank everybody at the Maplewood Community Center for their efforts with the Santaland Parade and their help on the Santaland Parade, and again allowing us to become a committee of the Community Coalition. Obviously, we couldn't manage the parade the way we do without that, and we are grateful to everybody for that.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Again, this is our pre-parade show for the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. Welcome back to our pre-parade special for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade. I'm Dan York.
And I'm Susie McGraw.
And we want to make sure, after we told you all of this great stuff, that you actually come out and watch the parade. Yes. We always say this every year. The parade is on a lot of different ways to watch it live, but we don't want you to. We want you to come out and freeze to death with us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Strength in numbers, right? No, there's just nothing like hearing the music and just experiencing the whole thing in, beyond 3D. It's all around you. And it's not only the parade itself, but it's also watching other people react to the parade. It just really, it's so exciting. The energy.
And it is a community event.
No doubt about it.
It's a community event that you don't want to miss. And there are lots of places to watch it. Again, the parade will start at Garden City High School. It will go south on Middle Belt Road. It will turn east on Ford Road and end up in the Garden City Town Center. Don't forget there are bleachers here at City Hall on the west side of the street, someplace to sit, but more importantly, you can be on television. So when people watch the parade played back on cable television, you'll be a part of that. But the parade is live on GCTV. It's live on Comcast Channel 12, WOW 18, UVerse 99. So that's live on cable television and, of course, played back throughout the holiday season. Also, it is streamed live to the internet. This is acceptable if you use your phone at the parade site to watch it this way. So it's streamed live to Ustream on the GCTV Ustream channel. And this year, for the first time, we'll be live on Facebook. And that seems to be how people want to see this kind of stuff. You can, it'll be live on the city's Facebook page, but all of these links will be at the Santaland Parade website, which is
www.santalandparade.com.
Absolutely. So you can watch us live on Facebook, you can watch us live on the internet, you can watch us live on GCTV, and after the parade is over, we want you to post your pictures to our Facebook page because we want to see what experience you had at the parade.
That sounds like fun. Let me ask you this, Dan. You've been, doing this for a while. What time is a good time for people to get in position if they are bringing their families out?
You can get out to the parade as little as 9:45. Okay. Especially if you're on a side street. Of course, you know that parts of Middle Belt are closed, parts of Ford Road are closed. So if you're on the east side of Middle Belt and you're north of Ford Road, you probably have to stick on your side of the street. But again, those bleachers are there and people can maneuver around on the side streets. And again, Maplewood will be a little messed up this year because we may be doing some of the staging on Maplewood.
but you can pretty much get around the city everywhere. They don't start to close the roads till about 9:15. So the big roads like Middle Belt, the big roads like Ford Road, they don't close before 9:15. So you can get past those, but of course, again, you can get around on the side streets most of the day.
I'm trying to think about using this technology so we can stream it on our phones live on Facebook while being at the parade route a little bit farther along, so we can kind of do a preview and then see what's coming, and then we're ready and we go, Santa, and then we're in good shape.
What she said. It is the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th. Our pre-parade special for the 2016 Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade continues. The parade, of course, on Saturday, November 26th, beginning at 10 a.m. And we want to take this time now to recognize the members of the Garden City Santaland Parade Committee. Now, this is a standalone committee that is a part of the Garden City Community Coalition, and this has existed for just under 10 years, and this is the group of people that help put on the Garden City Santaland Parade. There are other volunteers, of course, that work on the staging, that are involved in other things, but this is the committee that helps put the parade on every year.
Absolutely, and this is not a 2-month commitment. This seems to be something, I'm not on the committee, so I can say, seems to be something that goes on literally year-round. So we are very, very grateful for this list of names. And let me share who's on the committee. Kevin Kramus, Margot Arnosky, Pat Squires, Craig Sayers, Rob Cox, Monica Fulton, and the one and only Mr. Dan York. And these are names, these are movers and shakers in the town. There's no doubt about it. But thank goodness everybody's come together to create this perfect storm of energy and excitement for this wonderful event.
And we do thank the Community Coalition for allowing us to park underneath their 501c3 that allows us to be a tax-exempt charity, and also to make sure that the businesses that make contributions to the parade can write their contributions to the parade off. But again, it's a 501c3 that comes under the Garden City Community Coalition. So we are grateful to them, as well as to the folks that you just read off that are part of that Santaland Parade Committee. And it is the Garden City Downtown Development Authority Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. So that wraps up our pre-parade special for the 2016 Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade coming up on Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m. And I'm sure you're as excited as I am.
I am craving gingerbread cookies right now. That's how excited I am about this event.
The theme of the parade, again, is It's a Gingerbread Thing, and that's how some of the floats will be judged that receive awards as to whether or not they followed that theme along. But even if they didn't, they're more than welcome to be in the parade.
Of course, of course.
So again, marching bands, we will have floats, we will have scouts, we will have dignitaries, all kinds of great stuff. The parade begins at Garden City High School, goes south on Middle Belt Road, goes east on Ford Road, ends up in the Garden City Town Center parking lot where the Garden City Downtown Development Authority will be putting on that great post-parade event.
Great. We need to kick off the holiday season collectively and together, and that's what this event does, doesn't it?
It does. Don't forget our website. If you need any other information, it's santalandparade.com. That's santalandparade.com. Follow us on Facebook at Garden City Santaland Parade. Don't forget, we'll be live on GCTV the day of the parade, and then the parade will be on over and over and over again throughout the holiday season. And also, don't forget, the parade will be on YouTube after it happens, and because we're not in HD on cable, you can watch the parade in high definition on YouTube. So if you've got a smart TV, if you've just got your computer hooked up to your television or whatever you do, you can watch the television in stunning high definition and even in color this year, available using the YouTube version of the parade.
Yeah, new floor mats, a sweater, maybe like a pretty scarf. I'm putting my list together for Santa. Is that okay? Just want to be ready. Hi, Santa.
Can't do much with her. Anyway, so that's it. Susie, thanks very much for being with me here today.
Always a pleasure.
And I will see you at the parade.
Look forward to it.
All right, the Downtown Garden City Santaland Parade presented by the Garden City Downtown Development Authority, coming Saturday, November 26th at 10 a.m.